Oh my god, the host just triple sat me.
You see who's food running tonight?
56 was just sitting there making out the entire time I was trying to take
Why do we have
order.
so many servers on the floor? Did you hear about 73?
This is a work of fiction. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, or actual events is purely coincidental.
The safety board. Do you have like safety topics that you have to talk about? Oh, well, hold on. Let's get started here.
Oh my goodness, you're so needy.
Well, we should, now that we're actually recording.
Okay, well, relax.
I could have sworn we were last time.
I really thought we were.
All right. Welcome back to Rolling Silverware, everybody. I'm Bunny.
I'm Kat.
And this is our post-shift shit talk. Take 2.
How dare you? Nobody would have known. Nobody would have known.
That's my big thing right now. I'm like, I wouldn't have known this information if you didn't tell me. And they tell me anyways. And I'm like, well, here we are, guys. We tried to do this last week. We had a killer...
We did. We had such a good episode.
Such a killer episode banked. We were like an hour in.
Yeah,
Got
easily.
distracted with some coworkers showing up to like fuck around.
Mm-hmm.
And get back in the car. We're waiting for them to leave so we can get back to recording. And there is no recording. It doesn't exist.
It didn't exist. It was gone.
It never existed. The limit did not exist. And there we were, sitting with our thumbs in our asses. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah,
that was
disappointing.
It was so upsetting.
It really broke my heart a little bit because we've done that once before where we recorded an entire episode and then it was, what was it, like the mics were out or something was wrong with
the
it?
mics died. Like mine died first and then you found out later that yours died.
Yeah.
And we were just over here like assholes fucking talking away to literally nobody.
As if we wouldn't have done that regardless. Let's be honest.
That's what started all of this. I locked my door.
My door.
I'm trying to be safe.
Okay.
Somebody has to be. Mrs. New Safety Coordinator.
Oh, look at me go. I have zero responsibility other than updating the board every month. I think it's like a $70 budget usually to decorate the board in the back.
And they're giving you a third of that?
This month, yeah. This quarter I have no budget because they wanted to give us some nice food on Valentine's Day. So they took that out of
your budget.
My vision board budget.
Vision safety board. Do they give you like topics to talk about? Or is it
like... So that's like, not up to
me. Is there a new topic each month that they would give to you? Because that would make sense to me, right?
No, that's not up to me at all. So the management will have like whatever, papers that they have printed out or whatever.
You just have to make it look good?
I just have to decorate. Yeah.
I have a lot of those scissors for scrapbooking that cut pretty edges on stuff.
Hell
if you want me to bring those in.
Yeah, I do. I do want you to bring that in. Because
this job is obviously my job as well.
Yes, of course. We're doing it together.
Yeah.
It needs to be done by Thursday.
Great.
Yeah, so I have to do that every month. And then obviously there's like once a year, I think there's a huge meeting between all the concepts that have to go through. All the safety managers and server managers and coordinators and everybody have to get together and do something. I don't know. And then I get a 50% discount regardless of if I work or not. Right. So like constant 50%. And I think it's at all concepts.
It is all concepts.
Yeah, all concepts, 50% discount.
It's the same as the supervisor discount.
Yeah.
So.
And I get a free pair of shoes every 6 months.
Oh, that's nice.
It's both, yeah. I thought it was one or the other.
Are they shoes for cruise?
Yeah, but...
No. You're going to need them before 6 months.
That's fair. That's
Sorry, shoes for cruise. Throwing you under the bus so hard. These are like meant for restaurant workers.
You're ruining our sponsorships.
Sorry, guys. Your shoes look cool as shit. Like they have a Converse version that's like a matte black and a high top. Mm-hmm. Love that shit. They last 2 months. Like realistic working in a restaurant, they last like 2.5 months. So I got a Skechers instead. What up, Sketch?
All right.
Maybe we can get them on board.
Maybe.
I buy so many shoes from you.
I was really just going to, fuck it, if it's a free pair of shoes. I was going to get one of their cooler looking shoes and just fucking wear those.
Well, and then they came out with like so Vans has a half cab, which is one of my like favorite Vans shoe. Mm-hmm. And now Shoes for Cruise like kind of copies that same style.
Ooh.
And I'm like, all right. Like,
I might get a Shoes for Cruise.
You should, like absolutely. But I won't spend the money on it.
It's expensive, yeah,
They're
I agree.
super expensive.
Tonight was a little bit of a nightmare. I don't know how far you want to work back.
Fucking crazy. I mean, we can cover tonight, and then if any topics from last week need to be discussed, we'll talk about that too. Like the gift card thing. I have to talk about the gift card guy because that guy was fucking wild. But yeah, so tonight you were on at 4 and I was on at 5 in a section. They moved me to lounge 2, which is like, okay, fine. You gave me the heads up. Appreciate that.
I didn't understand why they moved you into lounge 2 though. They said that Arrogant was throwing up this morning, so I don't understand. He was on this morning. Why does that have anything to do with tonight's schedule? I was very confused at that.
I don't know who was supposed to be lounge 2, but they gave it to me instead.
I thought he said Mama Bear was supposed to be lounge 2.
Right, but then why didn't they just leave her there?
Right, that's like, it made no sense. I didn't understand.
She ended up having to take some big party with another server, and I mean, they had their own issues on the other side of the restaurant.
Yeah.
But so I get there at 5 o'clock. I clock in. I immediately get a table of 7. Okay, no big deal. They're super nice, and I know that they're corporate.
Yes.
It was announced to me before they even sat, and it's on their little paper like, hey, I'm corporate. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I get them started, and we're going, and then I'm told that I have another party of 7 coming at 6:30. And we were outside talking to the GM.
Yep.
And she said, yeah, you don't have another one until 6:30. We have other parties throughout the restaurant, but you won't get another one, for an hour and a half.
The Hammer was supposed to get the next one to come in, yeah.
Right, party of 7. So next thing I know, I go to take the order, because now finally my original 7 kind of trickled in. Like, they took a little bit to get there. And so I go to take their order as I get sat this other party of 7. It's like 5:25.
If that, yeah.
And I'm all, okay. So this other 7 sat. And then as they're behind me and I'm just talking to my original table, a party of 5 gets brought to my section also. And I just glare at new adorable host. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, but why? Why is this happening? To which our general manager hopped in. She greets my party of 7. You popped over.
I greeted the party of
5. And okay, great. But then as we were all at the terminal getting ready to ring everything in, because now we have 3 different things happening that we need to get rung in like immediately, I turned to our GM and I'm like, but why? Are there no other open tables in this restaurant? Like, why is this happening? And she looks at me, she goes, I don't know. So then we're in the back and we're getting drinks and everything. And I was like, I look at her and I go, hey, how many waters do I have to get or whatever? And she's like, no, I've got it. Just go get bread. I was like, okay, cool. I'll go get bread. And then I look at her and I go, I need you to understand that this happens more often than not when fuckhead been here for forever host.
Fuckhead.
I'm done. I'm done being nice.
I know you are.
We've talked so many times about her and how she doesn't like to do her job and she likes to be rude to guests and she likes to fucking play her little games with us as servers.
Yeah.
And I've had it. After tonight, I've fucking had it. You're doing this to piss me off.
Yeah.
I can handle a triple seat. What I can't handle is large party triple seat.
That's 20 people, essentially.
And on top of it, one of them is our corporate office, so obviously I want to make a good impression, and I want them to know that, like, hey, welcome, it's good to see you, I've never met you before.
Yeah.
Here's how this restaurant runs, you want to put up that good face, especially for those people, and for all my other guests, too. But you're interrupting that. If I don't have a good flow because you're fucking it up, you're not only fucking with my money, you're fucking up the kitchen too.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing with the host is I don't know what it is. They just, the minute there's a face in the lobby, they're panicked. And they're like, oh my God, we have to get these people sat. And it's like, relax. People can sit down for 2 to 3 minutes.
Right.
While your server gets acclimated to their current tables or whatever.
Sure, or
so
while
they
you
can
figure
start
out
a
where
new
else
one.
you can put them or anything else. Like, that's your whole fucking job.
Because if you flood the restaurant, you're hurting the servers, you're hurting the service that all of your guests are receiving, and you're hurting the kitchen because now all the orders are going in at the exact same time.
And then we have these lulls of nothing, and then guess what happens the next round? Another round of triple seats for everybody. And it's like, you don't have to do this. So I told our general manager, I go, this happens more often than not. Yeah. I'm starting to feel incredibly attacked at my job because she wants to play her little fucking games at the front and be like, what, you're not good? You're not good? No, I'm fucking great. I'm great. And to rub it in her face, I made fucking bank tonight.
You so, sure did, bitch.
Suck it.
So somebody in the corporate office you had mentioned had let you know that they were HR.
Yes. So she tells me at the very end, because I was like, hey, it was really nice to meet you. I didn't know which one at the table it was, because it's a table full of adults and one kid. Any one of these people are, well, no, he was 4. But any one of these adults are corporate age, like all of them could easily have filled any one of our roles in the corporate office. Even the oldest guy there wasn't, ancient. He was just an older gentleman.
Right.
And he was really funny. But anyway, so she hands me her black card. And so when I drop everything off, I go, hey, it was really nice meeting you. And she goes, oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm HR. Like, I handle this. I don't remember exactly what she said, but she had like a really specific title, like HR and then other words. She goes, but I also just handle like the regular HR stuff. And I went, great. I have so much to tell you. And so of course the table laughs. And I go, no, I'm just kidding. She goes, I'll record it. And I wanted to be like, we do that already. I could send you a link.
Give me your number.
Real quick, what's your email? Sure, I can find it.
It's so funny that she ended up being HR on your table because I was joking around, not necessarily joking around, but at one point I go to walk into the Bev station and all I see is red hair, right? And dark clothes. And I assume you.
Right.
And as I'm turning, I go to like reach my hand out to give just a little butt tap.
A little butt tap,
just we do. A little butt tap, how's it going? And I immediately clock as my hand's like up and getting ready.
Swinging out.
Swinging, I clock, that hair's too long and it's too curly. And I was like, oh, that's our GM. And so I saw her and I was like, oh, it's you. And she goes, that's a weird reaction. I thought you were Bunny for a second. I was about to do something really inappropriate. She's like, what, were you going to like squeeze my butt? And I was like, yeah, I was going to tap your ass.
In fact, that.
And I don't need that HR complaint on my thing right now. And she starts laughing. She goes, I wouldn't, it's an honest mistake. And I'm like, I would earn that.
Right? Yeah.
Sexually assaulting my general manager.
Stop. Yeah.
I would deserve that.
That's
I would
a server error for sure.
Server error. But no, I was like, oh, and then you told me later, you're like, yeah, she's HR. And I was like, oh, she was already here.
It would have been a really quick announcement. Just, by the way, this one.
BT Dubs, go write that bitch up.
Cat over there, just touching my ass. Oh, that's great. No, so everything ended up working out just fine. But like I said, it's those moments of she just doesn't care. She does not care. And honestly, I know that when it comes to me, she thinks it's funny.
Honestly,
she likes to play these games with us. We've talked about this time and time and time again. She thinks it's funny. And it's like, ha ha ha, I'm going to screw her over. And it's like, well, I'm not going to say anything to her. And she sure as shit didn't talk to me tonight. She was back in the kitchen a dozen times when I was. And don't look at me. Don't talk to me. You know what you did. And you got reprimanded for it.
Yeah. The only reason it worked out is because the GM was right there, which thank God the GM saw it. Yeah. Right? So the GM
firsthand, she's watching it play out and as confused as I am.
Yeah. So because the GM saw it and she jumped in to help and because I saw it and I jumped in to help, otherwise it might not have gone as smoothly. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. It could have gone way worse if you didn't have people like
no, because that five top of ladies would have been waited. They would have waited a hot minute for me because like I said, I hadn't even gotten drinks or anything for my other 7 top. Yeah. So that table 5 would have waited for a while. Yeah. And by the way, 2 of them I don't think they would have been happy at all. Yeah. You know, I definitely
mentioned they were a bit bitchy.
Oh, I got a little bit of attitude from a couple of them and it was like, you asked me a question. Like, I'm answering your question. But it all worked out in the end. So their bill was $290. That's not bad. The main bitchy woman, in fact, paid. She paid all on her card. And so I ran it, and then she, like, kind of flags me down with the check presenter, and I go, okay, great, and I shove it in my pocket. I'm like, thank you guys, have a wonderful weekend. It was really great, and they're complimenting my hair, and they're looking at my tattoos, and we're, like, it was a really good, like, closing moment, And then it wasn't until, like, 5 minutes later that I was at a terminal, and I checked, she left me $100.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, okay, like, I guess come in and be a bitch anytime. Like, but there was so she asked me for butter at one point and she's like, yeah, can I just get some more butter? And I was like, yeah. So we have to ring everything in, right? All the sauces and all that. So I ring it in hopes that somebody can get it to her before I can. Cause I also had 2 other tables that I'm now taking care of. So I had 4 and, closing out my original table at the same time. So I had a lot going on. So, it was, and so I was kind of spread a little thin and I was hoping somebody else would bring it out. And so she sees me after I get drinks for one of my new tables, and she just gives me this mad dog kind of like, where's my fucking butter look? And I'm like, oh, let me go get that. And sure enough, as soon as I hit the kitchen, it's ready to go. Like, they had plated it up for me and everything. Yeah. So I ran it out to her, and she was nice. She was like, oh, thank you so much. And I was like, yeah, sorry. Like, really wish anyone else had fucking grabbed that for me,
Yeah, I rang it in for a reason, but okay.
Yeah, but okay, here I am. Let me make sure she gets it. But yeah, so, and the rest of the night kind of flowed okay, but it's like nothing nothing's worse than getting to work and like just right off the bat they're like, hey, fuck your shit.
Yeah,
and
fuck
like
you.
any amount of like flow or a pattern that you have to how you handle everything, we just don't care. Or specifically, she doesn't care.
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
So, new adorable host, Surfer Boy. I think you dubbed him last time.
Yeah, that's right, Surfer Boy.
I think we have changed his name to Alpha, though, within the group, the in-group, if you know, you know. And
so him and let's just cover this real quick for everybody listening. So him, the new Surfer Boy host / Alpha, him and Cutie Patootie have the same first name.
Not only that, but they kind of look alike.
They kind of look alike.
Like there's like
a half
hair.
foot difference between them in height.
Yeah.
But they're charismatic.
Super
they're cute
charismatic.
as hell, and both of them great at their job.
Yes.
And so like right off the bat, Surfer Boy / Alpha. But anyway, so we're having these joke arounds with the two of them and saying which one's now, name number 1 or name number 2.
Yeah.
And so then in a joking moment, you were like, oh, did we just call him Alpha? Like, is it now just Alpha name? And so I guess we can just refer to him as Alpha. But I mean, he's a fantastic host. From my understanding, they're going to move him up very quickly.
Like soon, yeah.
Yeah, very soon he will get moved up. And great, he should. Like, he's definitely putting in the work, and he's so great with guests.
I would venture to say my 20 years of experience, I'm not as good with guests as he is.
No.
Like, he is
I'm so awkward at
phenomenal.
greeting people, like, especially at the front.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I know how the flow of the restaurant should go, and I can absolutely seat people any moment at any time, like, I can figure out who's next. No, he is... I've heard him talking to guests, and I even pulled him aside at one point, and I was like, you are so good with guests. He's like, yeah, and I was like, no, but I heard you at this one table. You were like, hey, guys, are we celebrating anything today? And they're like, oh, we just like to eat here. And he's like, I do too. Oh, my God. And, like, he's so personable, and he's so, like, open and willing to, like, chat with everybody. And that table of 5 ladies, oh, my God, they ate him up. I'm sure they did. Him. Like, he's going to thrive in this industry. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. As a middle-aged woman who absolutely falls to his charms 100% of the time, I can absolutely imagine why a table of 5 women coming in to celebrate one of their birthdays, just a little group of 5 besties, middle-aged women coming in, would fall for his charm. Like, of course they would.
And he's so good at it, and it feels so natural coming from him.
It does,
He's great. But I will wholly admit that I don't want him to move up yet. Not that I think it's too soon. It's that I need a strong fucking host team, and right now he's like surpassing the best. Like,
he's it, yeah.
Yeah, he is the host team. Mm-hmm. I don't want him to be a server yet.
Yeah.
Like, not that I think he deserves it 100%. Absolutely, he's fucking solid. But also, please stay there, like, just for a little bit or do you have friends? Like, this is the one time that I want to be like, do you have siblings or friends that are just like you? Because
can come in, yeah.
Even if you're not as good with guests, are you at least as good as understanding? Like, don't fuck it up. Like,
they'll still probably be better than some of the team we have now.
Very true.
He told you today as well that fuck-faced host that's been there forever told him, so a guest was going out and he like called him by his name, or like, oh, your name's John or whatever, right? Like, oh, that's your name, right? And the guy's like, oh, no, it's not, but I can be if you need it to be. And like just having that kind of like rapport with guests and stuff.
Right, very natural, very.
And fuckface like pulled him aside once that guest left and was like, you need to stop doing that. We shouldn't be calling guests by their names and this and that, and like reprimanding him for it. And he's sitting there telling me about this, and he was like, it's in the manual to like remember guest names if you can.
Right.
So
well, and it makes it a more personal experience. Like, if I walk up to a table and I go, hi, I'm Bunny, and they go, hey, I'm John and Sylvia. Well, guess what, John and Sylvia, have a wonderful weekend. Yeah. Like, I'm calling you by your name because you gave it to me. And that makes it that more personable, more one-on-one kind of thing, and he's doing that with guests, and he's succeeding with flying fucking colors. Yeah. But also, I looked him straight in the face, and I go, no, you know what it is? It's that you're too good at the job, and they're starting to notice how bad she is at it. And she doesn't want you being so extra, because it means they're going to want her to maybe be a little bit fucking better.
Yeah. Not even extra, just better.
Just better. Just a little bit fucking
average.
Better.
Can you be average?
Please. Please.
But yeah, he told me tonight that if she comes at him again, he's just going to tell her, like, look, if you have any, like, thing that you need to say to me or thing that to correct me on, like, just let management know, and management can correct me. Yeah. And I think that's a fantastic route to take, right? Because first of all, management should be the one correcting you, not necessarily, she did train him, and I do understand that, responsibility that we have as trainers of like telling other people when like, oh, hey, by the way, did you know?
Yeah, but she was just
like,
being petty. That's not even a rule.
That was pettiness. Also, could you imagine if she went to a manager and was like, hey, that new host is calling guests by their names? Like, what management would have done?
That new host is being too nice.
Management would have been like, yeah, you're supposed to.
Yeah, that's how we get people to come back.
Yeah.
You make it this nice, comforting environment for them, and he nails that across the board. And I every single server has said, like, that guy's really good at his job. And I'm like, yeah, he's great. He needs to stay right there.
Yeah.
Sorry. Love you. Stay there.
Yeah, no, he won't.
But also, he deserves any promotion that he gets, like, for sure. So my table of 5 ladies ended up staying the whole night.
Oh.
They closed out,
almost
and then
yeah.
they stayed. I brought them more water, and I wanted to let them know. And then one lady looked at me when she got up to go to the bathroom, and she was like, oh, I'm sorry, we're still here. And I was like, no, you're great. And then when you were hanging out with me towards the end of the shift, the lady who paid came out of the bathroom. She's like, I'm so sorry. We're like the last table here. And I was like, please, you guys can please stay. If you're comfortable there, I was like, I have plenty of stuff to do to keep me busy. Like, cause I was still doing my side work.
Yeah.
I was like, that's all well and good. And then she walks away and I looked at Kat and I was like, you leave me $100 tip, bitch, I'll get you blankets. Like, you can spend the night. You can stay. You want pillows? I'll find some. Like, you want me to tuck you in and read you a story? You're here until tomorrow. I don't give a fuck. Stay cozy, please. And then come back.
That should have me dying.
Because we have blankets at the front. And it's like, no, you can tuck right in. That's fine. Please. Start watching shows. What are we watching?
Like, get the projector, bitch.
Seriously. Like, hang out.
You looked at me, she walked away, and you looked at me and you were like, they tipped me $100. They can stay till tomorrow.
I'll wake you up in the morning. It's fine.
Oh, that shit was great.
At the end of the day, like, I had a fine night. Nothing was other than the triple seat for no goddamn reason, and
yeah, tonight was busy. I drowned for a little bit.
Really busy.
Yeah, I was on the cusp of being in the weeds, and I would even venture to say that I had a foot in the weeds at one point. I was going a bit. Also, I think just for me, because the terminal that was right next to us, right, because we were lounge 1 and lounge 2.
Yeah.
So the terminal that was right next to us wasn't working.
Yeah,
so,
we can't run cards on it all the time, and they refused to fix it for us.
Yeah, and so like that was getting really frustrating, and then it just the constant. I had 2
self-seat tables.
The 2 self-seat tables, both of them had someone sit down at them pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
And then I had someone self-seat themselves at 34, which isn't typically like, you can't
not
sit
especially
there.
on the weekends, on a busy weekend.
Right. And so I walked back and I was like, hey folks, because I noticed they didn't have menus, so I knew they sat themselves.
Yeah, it's the first time.
So I was like, hey folks, I just need to check with the host stand. I don't know. We're pretty busy tonight, so I don't know if, these tables are reserved out. So I just need to check with them really quick, make sure it's okay that you sit here. And one of the guys at the table was like, well, I'm pretty sure it's reserved for us. And I was like, okay, well, they would
have a reservation. What's your name?
I was like, well, they would have walked you back with menus. So let me go check with them and I'll make sure that that's okay. And then it took, and I immediately walked to a manager and I said 34 self-sat, but they said that they like had a reservation. I don't know what's going on, but can you like make sure that it's okay that they sit there? And then it took him so long. I went to a bar manager, moving into kitchen manager, right? It took him fucking forever to figure that out because he's a little bit like our old server manager where if somebody asks him for something, he's like, oh yeah, and like he'll do that and he gets distracted. So if you're asking him for like a longish task, it's not going to happen.
Sure.
And so it took him forever. And so I kept walking by this table to be able to greet my other self-seaters and give them menus and get them drinks and this and that before approaching them. Because if they're leaving, I didn't want to start the table. Yeah. Especially if they're getting alcoholic drinks or anything. I didn't want to start the table and then have them like have to get up and sit in the lounge or in the front, right? By the host stand.
Right. Well, and I don't even know if he ever even figured out if they were a reservation or not.
I don't think he did. I think he just grabbed menus.
I think he just grabbed menus and walked over and gave them menus.
But
and that's when you were like,
so long.
Great. So they're just staying here and we don't know, like, do we have another table that's hoping for the bar in the next 10 minutes? Because I don't have an open one. Mm-hmm. None of us did. And yeah, so I went over, I greeted the table for you. Yeah. And they were very nice, but then you also, like, you got another table, like, right at that moment, too.
Mm-hmm. And then, and with the terminal not working, and I was just kind of, like, a bunch of things were kind of starting to pile up in the back end of just, like, that feeling like nothing ever works. We don't have the things that we need. We don't have, like, the money to fix the fucking terminals and fix our POS systems, and I'm constantly having to leave the area to go run a card versus being able to run it in the area so that I can stay looking at my guest and making, you know what I mean?
Turning around and getting it handled, moving on to my next task right here.
Yeah, so I think just like start stuff in the back end started piling up, and then to get those like seated all like kind of within each other, and then have that new table sit down as well. I was just getting like so irritated and angry, and it kind of started showing a little bit, and I was just like, I fucking love working here. Which I shouldn't get that way at work. Like I've been working on that kind of attitude and like making sure that I'm a little bit more positive when talking about, especially to like other coworkers, but every once in a while it still just gets to me. Like I don't understand how we're still in business if we can't afford to fix anything.
Right. Yeah, if we're so far on the tail end of getting anything fixed, what are we doing?
Yeah, like, and
I'm also like, I thought about this earlier today because there's so many things that I have either tried to implement or I've been told, yeah, that's a great idea, we should run with that, or even just, yeah, we hear your complaint, we're hoping to work on it, whatever. Like there's so many things across the board that I hit a point tonight where I was like, I can't keep caring about this restaurant more than the owners do.
No.
I can't keep putting more of my thought process to this place if every time I'm going to be met with, yeah, well, sorry. So because I absolutely hit a moment tonight where I hit an entire wall and I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. Mm-hmm. And I needed, a split check and I couldn't find anybody and I needed my fucking baked potato to come out with the right fucking sides. And I needed this and I needed that. And I had an absolute moment where I was like, if one more thing happens.
No, I might walk out.
Well, I'm sick. Sorry. Just puked in the back.
I gotta go.
No, or sorry guys, just bled through my pants. Gotta go. Like I literally was hanging on by a thread for a few minutes. And the thought in my head was, I cannot keep caring about this place more than the people who own it. I can't.
I had a suggestion not that long ago because they recently brought back the we box up food for the guest versus, bringing a box to the table, which, we have $40 fish on the menu. We have a $68 fucking per pound lobster that we don't serve by 1 pound. Like we only
have bigger than 1 pound
by like pound and a half and
it's
whatever
plus dollars.
Yeah, exactly. So we have these like really expensive items on the menu, so we justify those obviously with the the freshness of our fish. We justify that, but also with the steps of service that we do provide is how we justify that high price point. And one of those justifications is we box your food for you versus bringing a box to the table.
And it does sit with the table much better. Like rarely I get the people who are like, no, I'll do it myself. And it's like, great, absolutely. Here's your boxes. Fuck off.
Yeah.
But usually if I go, oh yeah, they're like, oh, I need a box today. Yeah, can I box that for you? Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. Would you? Do you mind? Mm-hmm. Like, I get a lot of people that are kind of taken aback that I'm willing to, like, and I worked fine dining way back in the day. There was no questions asked.
Yeah.
If somebody wants a box, you're taking that plate from them.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring a box to somebody in fine dining, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Unless they specifically say, do not touch this. I'm the only one that can touch it, know? But, like, yeah, it definitely sits well with the guests. And I agree with you. The price point does make that extra step make sense.
Right. But I had a suggestion, like, hey, if you're going to make us box up the food, like, you need to have those disposable blue gloves.
Right.
The ones that are like a cardboard.
Yeah, they're like the paper, not paper, but they're like the thinner material or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're really quick disposable gloves. You just slide your hands in and then you can get to it. Because, sometimes people don't always give you a fork or they don't always leave everything on their plate for you to do that. So, and also for guests who can see into our kitchen from the dining area, it would look really nice that when we're boxing their food, we have fresh gloves on.
Right.
Every single time. And that was a fantastic idea. I think across the board, we all really like that.
Yeah. Guess what's not been implemented?
Gloves.
How fucking expensive are those gloves? Like, realistically,
I don't know. I feel like I could go to Smart & Final tomorrow and get some for like $5.
That's what I'm saying. They cannot be that expensive to where we're trying to fucking fit it into our budget. Like, you've just fit it in because that's a safety thing. Like, again, yes, I understand. I'm the safety coordinator, but also like just food safety handle, like the handler's card that we have to get, the bev whatever
all the
thing that we now have to do
that tells us, hey, be clean about
it.
You
tell me that I have to pay $35 to $40 every 3 years and sit down for 2 hours of my fucking time.
Yeah. To watch the most ridiculously drawn out videos.
Awful. And I hate them, but I do it every 3 years to make sure that I'm up to date with the safety of handling people's food.
Right.
And then when I tell you, hey, we really need this, these are things that we should have in this restaurant, you go, that's a really great idea. And then you walk away. Yeah. Like, what are you? Who are we? Who are we? Why are we doing this? Yeah. Like, I don't know. This stuff like that starts to pile on me sometimes where I'm just like,
I understand. I had a table who sat down and they ended up having a gift card out towards the end of their meal. Okay. And so I see the gift card and I was like, oh, do you want me to run that? And the woman was like, the mom, so there's a mom and dad and their like teenage son. Okay. And the mom was like, yeah, I don't know how much is on it. Can you find out for me? And the dad's like, just add it to the bill. Like, just take it off the, like, whatever's there, take it off the bill. She's like, but I don't know how much it is. And I was like, either way, I can find out for you. Like, if you want me to put it straight to the check, I'm still going to find out. Mm-hmm. Or if you want me to swipe this card and tell you exactly how much is on it before you use it here today, I can do that too. And he goes, no, just add it to the bill. And here, I have this one too. And he sets down another gift card. And so one's like an older gift card, and it's not even from our concept. Okay. It's from one of the fine dining concepts. And so I was like, okay, no big deal. So I try to run it. It doesn't run. It's saying that there's no money on the card. So I get new bar manager involved, and he runs it, no money on the card. And I said, hey, can you go and let them know that there's no money on this one, or that we can't access that? Because it was like, it didn't just say no money. It said like can't be used at this time.
Right.
Which is like such a weird thing for a gift card to say. It's like, well, when can it be used? You know, like, do you want me to try again?
Can it only be used at that fine dining concept, or?
Which would be weird because none of our other gift cards do that. Yeah. So I was like, hey, can you go tell them I'll run this second gift card they have and see what's left to go on a debit card or whatever, right? And so he goes over, and the gentleman, the dad at the table, starts making almost a whole scene. And he's like, I don't understand how this shit happens. Like, if there's any kind of fraud happening in your guys' corporate, then you should be telling me that my card doesn't have any money on it. I shouldn't be coming in trying to use my card and you telling me that there's no money on it.
What do you think? We just have a list of names of people that have bought gift cards in the last 10 years?
Do you know how many fucking gift cards go out daily, weekly, throughout our entire chains of restaurants? Like, that's
we
wild.
have, like, what, 4 or 5 chains of restaurants, too? Like, under our
umbrella?
Concepts
like... with multiple stores each. Like, what? And do you think we're getting, like, little pings, like, each day being like, hey, somebody stole this money? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Also, we don't even know if the money's stolen. Your wife admitted she didn't know how much was on it.
Right.
Maybe you guys used it all already and you just took the card home. It happens to me.
Oh, always.
Like, happens to the best of us, right? I use my Starbucks gift card and then I pocket it and I go back to Starbucks 3 months later and I'm like, I have this gift card? And they're like, no, it's empty. And it's like, yeah, that tracks. I'm not going to sit there and yell at the Starbucks employee being like, you didn't tell me this was empty. Well, that's your fucking job, Holmes.
Also, like, I'm currently telling you that it's empty.
Right. I'm trying. And so he, bar manager's doing his best. And he's like, sir, I understand your frustration. And he's like, no, you don't understand. Because this kind of shit happens all the time where, like, someone in San Francisco, Sally in San Francisco, is getting all my fucking gift card money and then I can't use it. And it's fraud and I'm not being alerted of the fraud.
It sounds like a you problem, dog. I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Still sounds like a you problem. Also, nobody's hacked into our fucking gift card, like, accounts. Yeah. Like, that's wild. But he's going off. So now at this point, I have run the other gift card. There's still money left on it, so they can leave a tip on the gift card if they want, or they can just fuck off. Like, so now I'm at the table to let them know, hey, sorry about that first gift card. Here's this. But then the guy's like, yeah, this is super fucked up. And again, bar manager's like, sir, I understand your frustration. I'm very sorry. You're more than welcome. I will get you the number to our corporate office and you can call them and we can get this figured out for you. And he goes, yeah, I'm going to call them. And not only am I going to call them, I'm going to call the state too.
Say what?
Right. And he's like, because this is a state issue. And because, in the state of California, I'm supposed to be given blah, blah, blah. I don't know. He had like this pulling fucking rules and policies out of his ass. I have no idea what this guy was talking about.
Oh, he's a libertarian.
But he's like, I'm going to call the state too. And it's going to be a bigger problem for you. It's not just going to be me calling your corporate office. Okay. To which bar manager's like, okay, sir, have a great night. Like, and I, like, I have never been happier to have sent a manager over to a table than I was in that moment right there. And so, because he had the guy made a comment saying like, if it expires or this or that, right, was one of his arguments that he was having with bar manager. And bar manager stayed so calm. Like, he's like, hey man, I'm so sorry. That's super frustrating. I get where you're coming from. Like, he was being Across the board, he did a fantastic job because if it was just me, I don't think I would have handled it so well. Because this guy went from like 0 to 10 so quickly. And like now you're screaming at me about the state of California, like, great. Cool. I'm like, they probably want me for other things too. I don't know what you want me to say. But so I walk over to the table, right? And so then bar manager leaves and I look at the gentleman and I go, hey, so this one did have X amount of money on it. So you do still have $30 left or whatever. If you want to tip on the gift card, great. If you don't, no worries. And sir, I do want to let you know that as far as all of our gift cards go that are not promotional cards, they never expire. They will never expire.
Yeah, they can't.
Right. And that's what, well, then he looks at me and he goes, yeah, well, in the state of California, they can't. And I go,
isn't that most states? I don't know, maybe.
I have no idea. But also I go, I was just letting you know. Because he made a comment about if they expire, right? Mm-hmm. But it's like, but sir, if you have this information in your back pocket about how in the state of California they can't expire, why would you even say that? So I just came over to comfort him in knowing we can probably get this figured out for you. If there was money on that card at one point in time and it wasn't used by fucking you, then we can probably figure this out because the money's not gone. It's just, we just need to figure it out, But that's what I was trying to say. It's just like, hey, it just never expires. And he's like, well, it can't. And I go, great. Here you go.
Bye.
Fucking leave. And like his wife and son were so embarrassed. Like the two of them literally sitting there hanging their heads. And all I could think is like, sorry, you got to go home with him. So I don't. I could skip away. And I skipped into the office and I was like, I'm so glad that was you, dog. And he's like, yeah, what are you chewing me out for? I'm the bottom of the barrel here, guy. Like you're literally coming after the bottom man and I'm trying to help you and you're not letting me help you. And I was like, nah, he just wanted to yell. That guy just needed to yell about something that day. And he chose that moment.
We have a decent amount of guests like that just want to complain. Yeah. Always. Like that's just their thing really, is they're really just here to complain.
Yeah, and I gotta say, like, there are definitely moments in my life, especially now being in my mid-30s, where, be the Karen. Like, absolutely. Like, pull the Karen card and get what you need, Like, you need to return something, fucking return it. Like, my dad bought pants at Target a couple weeks ago, and they didn't fit, and he's like, yeah, but they might fit me later. I go, no, take them back. Well, I don't have my receipt. Take them back.
Yeah, figure it out.
Get store credit. Like, I'll go with you. And my dad doesn't want, like, he doesn't want to have any interactions with people fucking ever. And so he's like, well, if I don't have my receipt, I can't. I go, you absolutely can. You were there today. Like, you just did this today. We can figure this out for you.
I was going to say, and even then, if it says, like, Target has their own brand of clothing and stuff like that.
Right.
And, like, a lot of stuff.
Well, and that's what it was. Like, it was, like, their universal threads or whatever the fuck the pants are. And so it was just
bring it in and you say, hey, I bought these. I'm sorry, I don't have my receipt. But
yeah, and also the guy who works at Target doesn't fucking care.
No, they don't care.
Nobody that works at fucking Walmart gives two shits. Sometimes I give people a reason. I'm just like, oh, yeah, it didn't fit. And then I realize they don't care. All I have to do is hand it back to them. Just, here you go. I don't want this anymore. And they go, great, here's store credit. Like, I understand that you can't return it to a card that you don't know if it was used or not because you don't have that little receipt to scan. Mm-hmm. And that's what I tried to tell my dad. I go, well, Dad, you can still, we'll turn around and you can buy different pants,
The pants that fit, yeah.
You shop at Target all the fucking time. Get paper towels. Like, I don't know, what do you want? Like, but just like occasionally, yeah, be the Karen. Like, it's fine. Mm-hmm. Because fuck the system and fuck everything else and fuck capitalism and just fuck it up. Who cares? But also, sometimes people need to not yell at the little man. Like, the little guy didn't fucking do this. Like, I'm not going to go to Target and yell at the guy because I only get store credit. I'm just going to be like, yeah, dope. Fucking give it to me.
Yeah.
Like, give me what you can. Help me if you can. And I'm leaving. I'm not going to sit here and scream at you.
The only customer service people that annoy me are the customer service people that act like I'm taking money directly out of their pocket when I ask for things or when I want to refund something or when I want to return something and they're just like, no. What?
Excuse me?
Like, yeah, that's when I'm like, the fuck you on about? Like, why do you give a shit about Old Navy? What have they done for you?
Yeah, like when people want to return a plate or anything like that, I'm like, yeah, we'll take it off. Like, I don't care.
100% of the time.
Or if you like whatever, you just decide the very last, I just don't like it, Like, I don't care if you have a legitimate reason for not liking it or not, or if it just came to the table and you went, you know what, I'm not hungry anymore, take it back. I'll take it off. It's not my fucking money.
Yeah.
I don't care. This doesn't change my life at all. And I think, there's definitely those people out there who are like, well, and it's like, no, shut the fuck up. Just do it.
Yeah.
It's not your money. Your paycheck isn't being affected,
Yeah.
Like,
those are the only ones where I'm just like, oh, relax. Like, you're not getting a promotion tomorrow because you denied me ranch. I need you to fuck off.
Step off that highway.
Someone did have a birthday this past week as well. I wonder who that was.
I had a birthday. It was a great time. We went to a like piratey tiki speakeasy restaurant. Yes. Everything was fantastic. That place good. On fire. Like I can't wait to go back. Like that.
So rare for a themed place.
Right.
To have great food and drinks.
Right. Like Rainforest Cafe. Awesome environment, right? Across the board, so cool from the moment you get there. Food, garbage.
Shit food, shit drinks.
Shit food, shit drinks. This place nailed it on all the... And they were a lot of classic tiki cocktails, like Dawn the Beachcomber stuff and like very original tiki cocktails. And then the food was fucking fire.
Food was incredible.
That was amazing. And like we said, we're walking around, their POS system was like tucked into this grandfather clock.
Oh, I loved that so much.
And it was all like the front of the grandfather clock was like fogged out with like that, glass fog. So that way you couldn't see it there. Like, they nailed it across the board. They did such a good job with that place. I can't wait to go back.
It's absolutely incredible. So we've gone a couple of places with our respective partners.
Right.
And not once have we left where my husband was just like, that was really good. Like, every time.
He's a tougher critic, or he's as tough a critic as my dad is, which is funny because my dad pays for nothing. So it's like, reel it in there, guy. But yeah, your husband definitely has some strong opinions about a lot of places.
He really is, and he expects just poshness everywhere he goes.
Well, like, he's British, so.
I mean, okay, fair, but also, like, fuck off, dude. Like, you spend time in pubs. Like, I need you to shut up.
Right.
But he very much, like, just wants the high class kind of treatment for poverty wages. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We can't afford a lot of the shit that he likes.
No.
And yet he will spend the money on it. Like, food and clothes, he wants high end. He wants top shit. And so multiple times, I've brought him places and he just goes, that was shit. Yeah. Don't ever do that to me again.
Well, when you guys joined us for my boyfriend's birthday, I feel like that at every step of the way, I'm like, I'm failing. I'm failing her husband. I'm failing my boyfriend on his birthday because I planned the entire fucking night and it did not hit at all. So it's really nice that my birthday did.
Yeah, and when we left your birthday, he was just like, that place was really nice. I'm going to recommend it to people. I was like, oh, shit.
Here we go. We know what we're talking about sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. I was really excited about that. But yeah, so you had a little good birthday. Now you're still mid-30s. 36 is mid.
Still mid-30s, yeah. I heard, I don't know how true this is or is not, but I heard that we might be getting the toast system at work.
I've heard that as well, but I'm not sure how true that is because anytime we bring it up to management, they have no idea what we're talking about.
Right. So now I'm like, well, who said it first? Like, where did this trickle down from?
Yeah.
Because I don't remember who told me first.
It's been a hot minute since I heard that. I'm gonna
I just found out last week. It was like brand new information for me last week.
I want to say it's been like 3 to 4 weeks, maybe even longer since I've heard that, and I don't remember what I did.
Well, and the toast system is the ones where you guys go out and anybody who's been out to a restaurant recently has the servers right there with the little thing that they type in, and then you can pay right there with them, or they can print your receipt right there.
It's a little handheld.
It's a little handheld, servers, and then you can leave it at the table and people can pay out or whatever, and. Fuck yeah, let's get that. Like, absolutely. If I'm sending in orders from something myself, because we don't have enough terminals in that restaurant for a busy Saturday night, let alone a holiday. We have lines of 3 servers waiting at each terminal on a holiday.
And I'm 4 total, right? Yeah, 4.
Yeah, 4. And 2 of them don't always work.
Right.
So it would be really nice to be able to stand there and take drink orders and send them as people order them. Now, I'm not saying that I don't, because I do like writing stuff down, right? I like having that to go back on, even if it's just for my personal benefit, so that in my head, I can say to the guest, no, you fucking didn't.
Right.
Because I'll never say it to them, but I can at least say it in my head, like, no, you didn't order a Coors Light, you ordered, the Stone Delicious, and I know that because I fucking wrote it down, but whatever. But it would also be very nice just to have that accessibility right there in the moment, and same with food, and like I said, just not waiting. We don't have to worry about whether that terminal can run cards today. Because the thing in my hand can.
The only thing I worry about is kind of that instance where you're like, somebody's ordering and, some tables, they, one person orders and they say, oh, I want the halibut with, spinach and rice. And then the next person starts ordering and I can write halibut, spinach, and rice pretty quickly.
Sure.
However, if I'm looking in a brand new system,
the learning curve might totally suck.
It's going to take me a minute, and the next person's going to start talking, and I'm going to have to be like, hang on. And it's going to happen.
I'm just going to turn away from the table. I'm just going to be like, no, one second. And
just turn your back to the table.
Turn my back. And when I come back to you is when you can speak. But no, then I get what you're saying. Because when I take a table of 6's order, right? I have 6 hash marks written down.
Yeah.
Because I don't use the front of, we get these little papers that have like seat numbers written on them. I don't fucking use that. I flip it right over to the blank side and I write it in my own fashion and way. But I have 6 little hash marks. So if seat 6 orders first, guess what, dude? You're right here at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then if seat 3 wants to start talking and order, cool, right in the middle.
Yeah.
And like I have it all hashed out. So it might be, I agree. It might be more complicated to have those moments of like people ordering out of turn or even just ordering too quickly.
Yeah. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about learning a brand new system on, something.
Grandma, it's going to be fine. You can learn something new.
No, I'm going to learn it. I'm not saying I'm not going to learn it.
Don't be afraid of technology, okay? I'm not sending you to space. I'm sending you to ring on a little thing.
That's, fuck you, first of all. I'm only a year older than you.
Right now.
Won't be able to say that in a month. But no, that's one thing that I always hated about working at a new restaurant is learning the system.
Absolutely.
It's, because I can memorize food pretty quickly.
Sure.
Give me a week or two, I can memorize a menu.
Yeah.
Right? Give me another week, I can memorize drinks.
Right.
Like, I can pick that up really quickly, but I feel like I'm still, to this day, 3 years later, I'm still fairly slow at our system that we currently have.
Oh.
I don't feel like I don't feel like I have it down as much as I absolutely could, I guess, or should anyways at this stage. And I don't know if a lot of that is just, my age kind of catching up with me. Like I mentioned today at one point, I was like, I'm not seeing things that I should be seeing. Like I'm not seeing the patterns in the system and being able to put these things in quick right now.
Sure.
And it's a lot of it because I was just super tired before I came into work today. I didn't get a nap in. I'm very old.
Grandma. Grandma didn't take her nap. Oh, you poor bean.
I was very tired when I came in, and then we got busy hit right when I walked in.
Yeah.
And so, it got a point where I was, starting to feel like I was getting into the weeds, and the exhaustion of things not working the way they're supposed to and things not being the way they're supposed to was starting to hit me. And I'm looking at the screen and I was just like, where do I find cocktails? Like, you know what I mean? And so I don't like learning a new system.
That's
only
fair.
Because it does take me a bit. And that's the only thing that I'm worried about is just being at a table and having that being witnessed in front of my guests.
You hold on.
Yeah. Like,
it's not your turn yet. I tell you when to speak.
It's embarrassing.
I think with the learning curve, we could absolutely be like, hey guys, this is a brand new system. Give me just 1 second.
Well, yeah, you figure out the bullshit that you say.
I do think that it will be great because I trained with Islands. I was going to open a new store with Islands before I got let go with like 70 other people that they let go for bullshit reasons. They had the handhelds, right?
Yeah.
And so it was the one thing that they kept saying is like, this will take away that question of, did I ring that in?
That's true, because you're doing it at the table.
I do think that that's really cool, because it's like, if they ordered it, then I rang it in.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's happening in real time, Whereas sometimes I'll write stuff down, and, oh shit, I gotta get drinks for this new table, and oh shit, this person doesn't have bread. And then 15 minutes goes by, and then that sinking feeling hits you of, did I bring that food in? You know, like that, oh, holy shit, what do I do? But yeah, so if it comes to be, then I think that that'll be an interesting thing, and we can discuss it at that point too.
Yeah.
But that just really took me back when somebody told me, oh yeah, I think we're getting toast. Like, what? Like, they're giving us something?
Yeah, that's the one thing is just I don't even know how much that is true because of how little we do get. Just
right.
And I don't know if it's all the concepts.
That's what I'm saying.
Just us.
If they move the concepts, all of them, over to toast, then we'll get it. Because it would be too difficult to keep us on the old system if everywhere else has a new system.
Yeah,
it wouldn't make any sense, So, just a funny little story about last week. Something was the system in the kitchen kept going down.
Ew.
And so the kitchen was getting like ghost tickets, which happens sometimes.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And so it was like, at one point I was asked, like, hey, did you get that side of carrots you rang in? And I was like, what side of carrots? And they're like, you need a side of carrots for like this table number. And I'm all, I don't even have that table. What are you talking about? Like, but it said my name and a table number that I didn't belong to, and then like side of carrots. And I was like, no, I didn't do that. Oh, okay. Well, they're just getting ghost tickets. And like sometimes they get drink tickets back there.
Yeah.
So it'll be like, oh, Moscow Mule for table 31. And they're like, what? They're like, I guess I'll pass this information off like to the other side of the restaurant. Like, I just think that's such a weird like little glitch that happens sometimes where they're like, hey, your order got ringing twice, or, you know, this like copycat orders, you know, but then sometimes it changes the table number.
Like completely, yeah.
And like we've even made food twice for two different tables, and then somebody went to run it and there was no table there. Like, there was nobody sitting there.
That's got to be wild. Some of our like random off the wall drinks, right? They're like the kitchen just gets like grapevine. They're like, what the fuck is that? Like, how do
grapevine? Yeah, how do I make that?
What does that mean? How does she even get this in? Like, where is that in the system to put that in?
Sushi guy's getting an espresso martini. Like, what?
No, yeah, I remember that. And that
is just such a silly little thing.
That pulls back to just, you know, our system old as shit, but also just not taken care of in any way, shape, or form. And is it not taken care of across all of our like locations, or is it just us? Is it just us that nobody gives a shit about?
Right. We are definitely the redheaded stepchild of this. Of our concept. Right.
One of our terminals can't fucking run cards. Another one of our terminals eats our clocking cards constantly because it's been
like
broken
slices
to
them
shit.
Up. It's broken inside.
Yeah, and it's impossible. You got to sit there and swipe your clocking card.
Honestly, you just got to talk really nicely to it and make it feel so special, and then it'll.
I'm about to start treating it like a fucking abused wife.
That's
like,
how you. Literally, like, hey baby, hey, oh, it's so good to see you. Are you gonna take this card right now? I'm being so gentle with you.
I'm gonna punch it.
Sometimes I give it a little extra rub. Like I used to have this old car that like, you know, you get in, you're like, come on, bud, you got it. And I kind of do the same thing for the terminal. Like, you can do it. You got this. Like, take my fucking order.
2 out of 4 of our terminals are just perpetually broken all the time. One of the terminals behind the bar was broken for the longest time.
Forever. I couldn't swipe my card. I couldn't do anything on it.
Yeah, the kitchen's getting ghost tickets, like random shit. Now we're cooking extra food, which we didn't need.
Which it doesn't happen that often, but like I said, sometimes when it happens, it's just one of now we're better about like catching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like systems go down, you know, you can't always help it, but it does feel like
it just feels
is
like
it us or is it everybody? You know, like, because sometimes we have IT problems and it is across the board. Like everybody's down, you know, but other times, I do wonder, like, is it just because you don't care about us?
Right. How do I walk into the back and we're completely out of, you know, fucking oyster crackers and shit? Like, there's just things sometimes where I'm like, how are we out of this? How are we out of Coke? What are you talking about?
Yeah, the most ordered soda.
Right. Like, what? How are we out of strawberry lemonade? Like, just certain things sometimes come up where I'm just like, who's doing this to me?
Right.
To me specifically. Like, it's
just you. They just wait for Kat to come on and go, tell her we're out of this.
Like,
watch her break down.
It's getting to the point where it feels fucking personal.
I know that feeling.
Right? I'm just, fuck you, man. I don't know. No, I had a lady come in last week. Speaking of taking things weirdly personal, this lady comes in 10 minutes after we close, and she walks by a locked front door to sneak into an open patio door that she can see. Walks up to me. I don't even know if I was wearing my apron at this point. I might have just been
untucked,
right? Just cleaning shit. She walks up to me and she goes, "Hi, party of one." I was like,
no.
I was like,
tomorrow?
Yeah. I was like, I'm so sorry, we're closed. And she looked at me like I just murdered her puppy. She was like, what? I was like, we closed 10 minutes ago. I'm so sorry, we're closed. And she again looks at me like I'm crazy. And I was just like,
you're here, so you should be serving her.
Or I was like, you need to leave.
Yeah. She's never been told no in her whole life.
It was bug night too. So
that's right. Everything was wrapped in plastic. Like all of the tables are covered in plastic. And the terminals are covered in plastic. Like, you walk in and you're thinking we're painting the restaurant tonight. Like, what?
Right. Like, everything's covered in plastic. And she goes, hi, party of one. What?
Can I get my fish?
No.
I'm about to go? Like, what?
Not even then.
No, you're right. Kitchen's closed.
Away.
But, yeah, she's never been told no in her life. You confused the hell out of her.
That shit, that made me laugh so hard. You walked up to a closed front door.
That's my favorite thing. She probably jiggled it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And she went, oh, this side door over here that's obviously not the front, that's the one they want me to walk in at.
Right.
And just surpasses the host stand entirely. She's at home. She's just going to the nearest seat.
Just walks up to somebody. I don't know if I was wearing my apron because it was
probably not.
bug night.
Yeah, we're just breaking everything
so
down.
I'm untucked. I don't think I have my apron on at this point. And so I could have easily been a guest. She just walks up, hi, party of one. No. No.
Absolutely not.
That was wild. You know what? She's one of those people that would just sit down on the patio and then be mad that nobody served her. Just seat herself in the patio. All the doors around me are locked. I don't understand why nobody's coming out to take care of me.
The lights are off. What the fuck? And then she'll leave a review.
Yeah, 1-star review.
1-star review.
Yep.
Showed up after closing and nobody took care of me on the patio where I sat by myself.
No, she wouldn't mention that. She would just be like, yeah, so I waited 20 minutes for someone to even come up to me. And then when they came up to me, they were so rude that I left.
They told me I had to leave. Oh, people are wild.
So weird.
Valentine's Day is coming up.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. We were told the whole weekend's a holiday now.
Yes, whole weekend's blocked off. Everybody has to work the weekend. Because it'll be so busy. So busy.
We'll see. I need the money, so.
I hope it is. Like, I love holiday season. Like,
I've been getting shit tips the last 2 days, though, and I do not know what I'm doing wrong. I've been giving the same service that I always give, 20% service.
Problem.
Like, you shut your fucking mouth. I give great service, bitch. But you joking around with my table, smiling, having a good time. I'm hitting all my points, and then they walk out 10%. I'm like, okay. And if it's a one-off table, then you just think like, okay, well, these people tip 10%, right? Like, it's just, it is what it is. But when it's all of your tables, or at least 80% of your tables for 2 nights in a row, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong?
What's going on? I mean, so this week, I guess I can, because, we go through these month after month. It's like the end of the month or the start of the month. You usually don't get.
Yeah, you have your waves.
Right. You don't get the greatest tips because people have to pay rent and they got to pay their bills and they got to do everything else. And it's like, so now that we're at the tail end of the month, I can kind of understand it. But like 2 weeks ago when I had that like whole week of really shit tips, I was like, what's happening? Like, it's the middle of the month.
Yeah.
Like, almost tax season, like, you guys, what do you do? What's happening? What's going on?
I don't like Valentine's Day because I feel like it's one of those holidays where people don't really go out all that often.
No, these are the people who don't go out. They go out on Valentine's Day.
So like people like Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, these people go out once or twice a year tops. They don't go to restaurants where they're expecting a $200 to $300 bill.
Right.
They go to restaurants where they're expecting a $60 to $80 bill, whatever. And so they come in, they sit down, and then they get that check at the end, and they're like, oh, fuck, I don't have money to tip.
Right.
And so I definitely don't look forward to Valentine's Day because even though you're kind of turning and burning, you're turning and burning tables of 2.
Yeah, you're turning and burning 2
tables
tops
of 2
all night. And no matter what your section holds, you're getting 2 tops. Like, there's not a lot of group couples that go out on Valentine's Day.
And at the end of the day, a 2-top could rack up $120 bill fairly easily.
Even 200, yeah.
Yeah, or 200 fairly easily. So they come in, they're like, ooh, let's have a nice night. Let's do this, let's do that. And then they get the check and they're like, here's $3, server. Thank you so much. So it's definitely, I don't look forward to Valentine's Day. I feel like it's very harsh. For us, just tip-wise, like it's not lucrative for us in any way, shape, or form.
I just rely on it for the turning and burning aspect. Like I'm working a double, so I'm gonna hopefully turn and burn enough that it makes it into a good weekend night. I just remembered this right now when you were talking about Valentine's Day, but last Valentine's Day here, on any holiday, you greet your table, hey, happy Mother's Day, a happy Valentine's Day, right? And so I had this 2-top and older couple, like probably in their late 60s, right? And I walked up to him last Valentine's Day. It was towards the end of the night, too. And I was like, hey, guys, happy Valentine's Day. And this man looks at me and he goes, well, that's not why we're here. And I go, what? And he was just like, yo, we're just here to have dinner. And I go, yeah, on Valentine's Day.
It's still Valentine's Day regardless
I can still
of why
wish you
you're
a
out.
good one or not. Like, this isn't one of those holidays that, like, only certain religions fucking do, you know? Like, I didn't think I was offending you.
I'm not wishing you happy Hanukkah, dog.
Right.
It's Valentine's Day and you're out to dinner with your wife.
Right, and you're a party of two on Valentine's Day. That tracks. Like, but yeah, he was just all grumpy about it. And I was like, I looked at her and I was just like, is he good? Like,
is he okay?
It's still Valentine's Day, dog. Like, sorry.
That's so funny.
That just clicked in my head. I was like, that's right. That guy came in to let me know that's not why he's here. Okay, well, do you want to eat or not? Like, I don't know.
You haven't seen him since, but you will see him on Valentine's Day.
He's going to be my last table. And I'm going to say the same fucking thing.
As you should.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I hate this day. Great, me too. But we're here now. Let's make the best of it.
Yeah, we were told that only 4 people will not be working a double, and I am pleasantly surprised to learn that I am one of them. So,
yeah, which is good because I really didn't want to hear you scream about it.
I need you to shut the fuck up,
Mrs. I only have mornings available when I have my son. Yeah, well, it's a holiday.
Yeah, okay, schedule me, but you should schedule me within my availability if you can.
Sure, but also
that's what I'm saying.
Right, but I know, but. Which the only reason that I make fun of you is because I look at you and I go, yeah, and when I'm not available on Tuesdays and Valentine's Day falls on a Tuesday, guess who has to come to work?
Yeah, but that's a whole day of not available.
Sure, it's outside my availability.
Yeah, but if I have part of that day available, why would you not try to at least schedule me within that time frame?
Because fuck you, that's why.
Honestly, I was resigned to work a double, and I was getting really upset about it because I do have my kid and I don't know who the fuck's going to pick him up from school or how that was going to work, so I was getting really worried about that, but he can figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, I can take my son to school and then I'm at work at noon, so
yeah,
he'll have to be picked up by somebody else. Or he'll walk, he'll figure it out.
He's 7.
He knows the way. All right, well, on that note, do you want to check out?
I do want to check out. Oh,
all right.
I'm sleepies. I gotta be back tomorrow morning.
That's true.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Rolling Silverware Podcast. If you are enjoying the post-shift shit talk, please feel free to rate it. Tune back in next week for our shift shenanigans.